Good afternoon, everybody. Dan Man Walking 55 coming to you from the East Coast of the U.S. now. Hey, Sunday afternoon, 17th of March. Golly, we've got 2.5 months down in the year. What an incredible thing. What an incredible thing. How time flies as you get older. But hey, we're here. We're going to be talking about most of every, I don't know, I guess I can't say most, but so many people's great favorite franchise here, the Ghostbusters franchise. Now, we will also have a show on Wednesday night. Our Walking Around podcast will be dedicated to Ghostbusters, and we'll also have our Hungry Boy with us. But today, our focus is none other than two great friends of the channel, especially our big German friend from Mexico. That's the one, the only, the great Masters Maniac Mexico, who's now Rolo Vintage Hunter. Hello, Master.
Hey guys. I'm ready to ghost hunt today.
And everything's on the table, like we said, about all about Ghostbusters. We will engage in 2016 talk today. I know you want to.
And happy St. Patrick's Day also to Daisy Blossom here.
Favorite color of Slimer, you know?
Yeah, we got something green here, so nobody can blame us for nothing.
Your favorite Slimer. Man, I tell you what, dude. But hey, today's the day, 2016. We'll go for it. Okay?
And I'm prepared, man. I'm prepared.
As much crap as you want to give me. Well, hey, and we bring in another ally for you too, also here today. It's you know him for Late Night Fortnite and Damn It Mark and things like that, and all the good videos about me on his channel. So he's monetized me, and that's cool. It's great. Mark D with a C. Hey, Mark.
Hello. Good afternoon. Great to see everyone.
And if we're lucky,
Are you ready to believe us?
Yeah. Are you ready to believe it? Are you ready to see? These gentlemen have two of the biggest collections of Ghostbusters and stuff that around, and they love it. So let me say hi real quick to the chat. Then we will jump into this really quick. We got the great Daisy Blossom Flower Child here with us today. Hello, Daisy. Sci-Fi Momby's here with us. Hello, Sci-Fi Momby. All right. And of course, it's Meals. I know it's you, Masters. I like all your different names.
I don't know. This really, I don't know. It's just StreamYard doing it. And I don't know why StreamYard is doing that. And it is one of my profiles that I have on YouTube. But literally, I don't do nothing with that. And I have not connected it to StreamYard. And I don't know how to change it.
It depends on which account I think you're signed into at the moment. Or the last account you signed into. That's my guess.
All right.
Google.
All right. I'm always in the same account for many years.
The YouTube and the goggle overlords take over. Exactly. Do not question it. It is the way they do it.
It is what it is. No, I'm email and it's fine.
Did you make it? Okay. I'm trying to find.
Oh, okay.
Put it in.
All right, cool. Mrs. is doing some tech work in the background. Going to add a little thing to our collection. So now, Masters, where did you get this Slimer from?
Where did I get that genius Slimer from here?
Yeah.
Well, Mexico is a land full of surprises and wonders. And this is part of what Resurrection Toys does. So the toy manufacturer that I was infiltrated in before I heavily got sick. And this is a handmade plush toy by the wife of the great toy designer Marcos Lascano here in Mexico.
Yeah, really? Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
It is. If you want one, I have them on my Kobe.
Very nice.
Page. I have them on my Kobe page.
Is it one of those? It looks like it's fluffy, like a stuffed one.
Yeah, it is. It is a plush. It is a plush. Yeah, it's completely handmade, right? So it's not
Nice
printed.
job,
It's all stitched, right? It is heavy material. Even the tongue, it's not printed. It's all stitched, right? So. And we have a lot of stuff there. We have gremlins, we have face huggers, we have chest busters, and all in plush.
Oh man. Yes, let me see.
You can't make it bigger.
I can't make it bigger, but everybody look up in the upper right above the upper right corner of the screen.
Oh, nice, yeah.
This has made a little Ghostbusters thing up in the corner with my. I'm getting sucked into the trap. There you go.
Way to go.
Nice, Mrs. Nice, Mrs. So as the day goes along, we'll have both these gents show what they would like to show of collections that they have here too. So let me start with this though, and Mark, if you got stuff you want to show, feel
Sure.
free. But Masters, let me start with you. With what was your first experience with Ghostbusters of the franchise? I mean, talk about the early days.
I'm an old guy. Everybody knows that. There's no sense in trying to hide it. So my first experience with Ghostbusters was a TV ad that I saw in Germany when I was a little kid. And I already at that time was a great fan of vampires and everything like old Mummy and Frankenstein movie stuff and books. So I was immediately convinced that I have to go to the cinema. The only thing that I had to resolve is at that time the German movie regulations was very, very strict. So they made it a movie.
What do you mean movie regulations? What
that we have still certain age groups for movies in Germany that you cannot enter the cinema if you don't have a certain age.
Oh,
The Ghostbusters was restricted because of the
It was
ghost.
restricted to 14 years, and I was not 14 years, but I came in, and that's my first remembrance.
So you snuck in illegally.
Yeah,
Broke
kind
the
of.
law.
I got my grandma going in with me. So if you brought an adult and the adult was ready to overtake the responsibility, you could go in. And my grandma was easy to convince.
You survived, and yeah, it didn't scare you.
Yeah,
too
I
much.
survived it. I was fascinated. I went 2 more times after that, though. It was hilarious. One of the best experiences, cinematics experiences that I remember. There's 2 or 3 more that I really have in mind as a kid, but this one is definitely one of those.
yes. Mark, what was your first experience with Ghostbusters?
Well, wanted to go see Star Trek 3, and then my friends say, no, we're going to go see Ghostbusters. I'm like, don't you want to see Star Trek? I mean, I know Bill Murray is cool and all, and but let's go see Star Trek. But I got overruled, which is okay. But think of all the good movies. Was that 1982 or 83? When did Ghostbusters come out? What year was it?
Yes.
So,
1984. By the way, Mrs.
84.
Daisy Blossom said excellent work on that up in the upper right corner. That is awesome.
Yeah, it looks nice. Yeah, you should hire her.
Exactly. Yeah, I can only pay her weekly, very weekly.
Once another week.
Yeah. Yes. 1984 was when it was released.
Indiana Jones was Indiana Jones. Like if you go over the list of movies that was released that year, just think of how amazing that year was for movies. I think that was Indiana Jones. Let me see. Trying to remember all the great movies that were released in 1984, just to put it in perspective. How amazing, that year was.
Let's see. Well, let's take a look.
Take a look. Yeah.
The top 10, according, and I'm going to use Wikipedia only just for convenience here. Ghostbusters, based on domestic gross, was Ghostbusters, Beverly Hills Cop, Indiana Jones, Temple of the Doom, Gremlins, Karate Kid, Police Academy, Footloose, Romancing the Stone, Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, and Splash.
Yeah.
So think of how good that year was for movies. Yeah.
I think I've seen all of them except for.
I saw all of them.
Except for Star Trek 3.
Oh.
Romancing the Stone and Footloose. I refused to. I was 14 years old, and I agree with the preacher in the damn movie. Those stupid kids and their dancing crap. You know, I was like, I had one coworker. No, I did. I had a coworker that said I was born old. So it's like, you know.
But you're the only person that I know that does not have a good connection to Star Trek, the original movie. So
yeah, well, I will tell you honestly, before we go too far off on this, the Star Trek the Motion Picture was really, I just could not get that at all. I could not. So I think Wrath of Khan suffered because of that, but I'm going to try Wrath of Khan again. I'm going to try
Man,
it.
you know that, man. You know that God is going to ask you questions, no?
Yes, I know. I got to be ready for it.
You have to make that up.
Try
otherwise
Wrath of
you're
Khan
going
again.
down.
Well, I already had JT Kirk after me, so I definitely got to do
My
it.
God, I mean, yeah, we'll have to do a watch party.
I actually, JT Kirk actually, I had never revealed himself, and then I actually went on camera to ask me what. It was like he just stopped what he was doing and like turned the camera on, like, what did you say? That was how moving.
How shocked he was. You hadn't seen Wrath of Khan?
Exactly. Oh, no,
Or have you
well, I
seen it?
saw it, but I
just
was
didn't
kind of
like
like,
it?
it's not that I didn't like it. It was just, I guess you hear the hype, and and it's kind of like, okay, to me it was just a movie, and of course to Trekker that loves it, that's blasphemy.
It's a way of life. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it'd be like saying Empire stinks,
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
Star Wars. So, but I
I'm
said,
friends with you.
yeah, you are. So, but see, the thing is, I will try things and I will try to be corrected. I always keep it open. And hello to Franzella Funkel. Hello,
Franzi.
Rollo.
Hallo, Franzi. Schön, dich zu sehen. Herzlich willkommen.
And we're going to have a little bit of German in here today, folks. We're going to be English and German, probably some Spanish, don't you think, Masters?
Sí, tal vez vamos a hablar un poco de español día de hoy también.
Well, my first exposure.
What you said.
Yeah, exactly.
And we probably will speak some Spanish today as well, as I expect some of my friends lurking in here, at least our friend Aline.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we will. And Franzella says hello to everybody. Welcome. Also, as I always put in here, we're up to 605 subscribers on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe over there, and follow us on Twitch. We do stuff on Twitch too. So thank you for being here. My first exposure to this movie, and I don't remember how I heard about it. Because back then we didn't have the internet, things like that. And I might have been out of the newspapers that I saw it. And I don't think my parents went with me. The one time I saw it and I remember seeing the theater was a kid that spent the summer with their grandparents, was staying down the street with them. And my parents dropped us off at an old movie theater that's been long abandoned and torn down. And the two of us went in there for it. Now, his grandmother was like very religious and very like concerned about the themes and stuff like that. And I kind of helped, oh no, it's a thing. But then when you get in there and when you start to see certain scenes at the time, it's like, oh my gosh, I was not prepared for, well, the firehouse scene, shall I say, and the mysterious zipper pants, but I will leave it there for that mode for this moment. And you know the scene I'm talking about, right, Masters?
Yeah, I'm laughing about what you're talking about, right?
As a 14-year-old, it's like, well, what? You're like, what? But,
and imagine you being in the position convincing that very Christian and conservative grandma, and the first thing she's going to see is holding up the most horrible library ghost I've ever seen in my life.
Thankfully, she was not there. She let her grandson come off with me. So
back off, man. I'm a scientist.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, really, because one of the things I've read about is it seems to be like one of the first movies that really did a lot of effects, a lot of special effects to the extent we had. What did we have in? We had Slimer as an apparition. We had all the different ghosts. We had our
the dogs
packs. Yeah, the dogs. I mean. How do you guys think, Marshmallow Man? How do you guys think what did y'all think about all the graphics at the time and now compare it today? Does it hold up over time?
I think it does. Yeah, it definitely holds up. Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, you watch that movie today. I mean, there's no CGI back then, but I don't think it suffers for that effect, because of that lack of effects. I mean, now that the new movie had CGI, obviously, but I mean, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man looks awesome. All those practical sets. I mean, maybe a couple of times, if you're, a modern, if you're more used to the modern stuff, you can see it's not perfect, but it's pretty damn well done. And plus, you combine that with the incredible, dialogue and, ad-libbing by Bill Murray and the cast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's one of the all-time great movies, and you could just watch it over and over and over. My kids, they used to watch it with a babysitter would put Ghostbusters on. So for a while, that's all they would watch was Ghostbusters. They knew it inside and out, which is pretty. They between
Mm-hmm.
that and High School Musical, you just cycle. Let's watch Ghostbusters again. And of course,
Yeah.
as a kid, you don't get all the jokes, but
Right. Like,
but the effects. I mean, they never. I think the effects are damn good in that movie.
Mhm.
So.
Well, I had forgotten about that one scene when I watched it with my kids years ago, and I'm like, okay. It's like,
Which scene?
The firefighter with the zipper, the
Oh,
firehouse with the zipper. It's like, Ang remembers that very well. Ang will be talking about that themselves on Wednesday night because it's like, oh my gosh. I mean, I think I was flipping out. We were watching it in one of those dinner type of movie theater places a few years ago. I was like, oh my God, I forgot about this. But we have the case of the it shows that Down in the Luck. Well, I guess they were sort of going towards the Down in the Luck guys. They were into paranormal. Finally, actually got a real sighting of a real ghost, like you mentioned, the librarian ghost. And we get back to, then they get all their equipment taken, the funding all gone. They down on the luck because of the fake science that they were accused of doing. And because we see Peter Venkman there, with Bill Murray, the first scene there with the little shock therapy thing between the guy and the girl. It's like,
yeah.
But that's not
awesome.
fake science. That's tactics.
Well, yeah, but then again, when the guy got one right, he still shocked him anyway. And the girl wasn't even close.
I say that's not science. That's tactics. That's fine. That's allowed.
No, it's I got you. So,
but let me say something to the special
Absolutely.
effects because I really have an approach on that. First, I want to agree to Mark that the special effects hold up very well, although they are not CGI. But you simply see how much love is putting into all these items and all this camera perspective. And in the end, there's a second perspective. At these days, when you were in one of those movies that really tried to do a lot of special effects, no matter what, you had to overplay certain things that technique at this time was not able to reproduce, right? So as Mark says, if you study the Marshmallow Man, for example, you can see a couple of flaws there. You can see that it's handmade. You can see that's probably a lot smaller than it really appears, right? In some camera perspectives, but this doesn't matter at all because it gets so welly overplayed and so welly embedded in the story in total that you really don't put your eye on that. And I think that's the great difference between the movies of the old days and today, because today they just rely on CGI, on the spectacular eye effect, let's say, and over that they really forget to embed all that in a good story, and they don't even bother to bring good actors anymore. They just say, okay, you got a spectacular view here, look, I give you something that you have never seen before. But for me, it's not as satisfying as the old days.
It's amazing. Like the dog, somebody bought a dog to a cougar to a party, I think is what the line was. It just, even today they still hold up pretty good. I mean, you can kind of see that it's got its age with it, but the technology was just developing then. It was in the early days. And I think we can give a little bit more forgiveness when it doesn't hold up over time versus like nowadays when you see a lot of these superheroes. And I mean, when Cocaine Bear has a better CGI in it than Ant-Man, I mean, our Flash, it's like we got Houston, we've got a problem, But one of the other things, all-star cast. Look back at this, in '84. Do y'all remember? I don't. Bill Murray was the superstar name. Dan Aykroyd from Saturday Night Live. But look at then, I'd not really heard of a lot of the others, but look back over time now. This is an all-star cast in one spot. I think from the early days. We got Annie Potts, Rick Moranis. What
Yep.
do y'all think about this character? I mean, it's rare to have movies come together with a cast that blended as well as this.
Well, they
Well,
have
you
been
got
friends, right? As far as I know, they have been friends before, and they had, as you say, a couple of shows and things together. And I guess that was a chemistry before they did this movie. But I also think that you're absolutely right. This grade of chemistry and this blending, even including like minor roles or sidekicks, right? Um, Everything blended in so well and so good, and you gave even surprises to characters like Rick Moranis, who wasn't known to be that sneaky as he showed himself in Ghostbusters.
Hey,
I was
he's not sneaky. He was just a misunderstood accountant. Come
Yeah.
on. He just wants a date. He just wants.
he's not sneaky, not slippery, nothing of that.
And he paid all his taxes.
Exactly.
All the time.
And he bought
Yes.
the salmon note from Nova Scotia, as a client, as a business expense. So, and he's
all
always
the rules, yeah.
And every time everybody passes down the hallway, he opens the door, and he locks himself out in the same motion.
Yeah.
No, I think it's the same magic that you see in Star Wars, and that you see that it's really difficult to just replace people if you don't get a complete new perspective on it or a complete new story around it. If they're that epic as a team, you cannot just change one player out and say, oh well, look to the other side, there's nothing to see here.
No, not at all. Not at all. But hey,
Jesus. We need some help from a moderator here, please.
Yeah, I know. That's what I saw right there. Goodbye.
Bye-bye, buddy.
Oh, but
There you
wait, they wanted to promote the channel. Oh.
I know.
thank
I know.
you.
Jeez. I know. Hey. It's
They're going to
good.
promote it in whole India, and also they're going to promote your credit card number, your phone number, and everything else about you.
Exactly.
You sure?
Yeah, pretty.
Yep. Oh gosh, it's funny when these come through. Actually, I see them more on the Twitch side than I do the
Yeah,
YouTube
more on
side.
Twitch, probably. Yeah.
But yeah, it's it's when you hit the big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when you're famous. They're coming.
Yeah. So, but hey, we move on. We go on. We can take the original movie anywhere that y'all want to, because see, I loved. And we can talk about the thoughts with the movie, because I'd also like to get your thoughts on Ghostbusters 2, what Afterlife, and of course 2016. Okay, what we can do. But the original Ghostbusters was just, to me, it was a fun movie. Very fake. Love the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I that was my favorite. Of the whole thing. The movie. It was how they come up with such. It was such a odd and goofy end of the world device that it was just amazing. Mark, let me start, Mark, and then Rollo after you. Is Mark, what are some of the highlights in this movie to you that made it so special?
Well, just the damn humor. I mean, it's obvious, but just to me, but the humor and how damn funny it was right from the start. I mean, it's a movie about Ghostbusters, guys chasing ghosts. I mean, how funny is that going to be, right? I mean, on the face of it, you don't. I'm like, it's going to be like an Abbott and Costello, who I do love, that humor, and just built, right off the bat, it's just the humor is just over the top and just so damn well done. I mean, it's just and that scene in the library, that are you Alice Bleep, and then the Bill Murray, and then of course I think they start with the girls doing the psychic test with the other guy, and then the girls getting them all wrong, but Bill Murray keeps saying that they're right, and then and he just keeps zapping the other guy, and then finally the other guy gets one right, and Bill Murray's like, no, wrong anyway, and it zaps the poor guy. So I just love the the humor, just and some of it is ad lib, but some of it I'm sure was scripted. And then they have a great chemistry to it. That the cast there. So it's just from Saturday Night Live
Yeah.
and knowing each other, and
Well,
like
let me-
well, just like one of the lines, like when they finally get the firehouse, they're talking about going out to dinner, and like and Ramus is like, this gentleman represents the last of the petty cash. It's like there's
Yes.
lines like that we use with friends like all the time, like the moment hits, or like
Yes.
this is the last of the petty cash, which is unless you know the movie really well, but there's just quotable. This man has. It's true. This man has no D. The
Yes.
movie theater,
Yes.
like
One of the
couldn't
greatest
stop
lines of all times.
The mayor. I would never expect that.
I have some clips I don't know if you have the ability to do. I could play a couple of clips, but if you want like short clips, but because I clipped
Yeah.
it for
Yeah, if you can.
I have a few
Yeah,
clips in a minute I could do.
You know
but-
how to stay within the
yeah,
realms
yeah.
of compliance.
Yeah, they've all been on my channel, so they're all the ones I
But yeah,
play once
so
in a while,
Masters,
yeah.
what do you think? What are some of the special moments while Mark's looking at? What are some of the special moments that really stood out to you for this original one?
Yeah, well, as Mark says, there's so many things that you can repeat, and then again, for me, there's even more things because your version and the German version have a different tone. Once again, right, in translation, right, and there's so many remarkable things to say about this movie. So I will just refer to two scenes that I really love, which is the library ghost. I think it could not have been made better than that.
That was really scary for the time.
I mean, that was what I wanted to say. It was horrible. It was horrible, but they took out the tension in such a lovely way in the same moment. Once again, them all right coming out there, being all slimed and staggered. And
let me, and I want you to keep going, but like you talked about with the librarian scene, but the tension, that was one thing too. You walk into this movie thinking it's a comedy. I mean, it becomes a comedy. We have the funny lines, but that at the beginning had that like horrific or that terror, like you said, it created a tension. That music, the vibe you were getting. Then you saw the books floating between shelves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was really good for setting the tone.
If it's a comedy, it's at least a dark comedy. No, it gets dark at several spots in the movie. It gets really dark, right?
Yeah. Right. Was there any of the other scenes?
And the other one, I mean, the other one opened up questions for me that are still dealing with today, right?
No.
Like, are you a god, right?
Oh.
Right. That's a very special question.
Well, that's like Mark said. This movie has always had those quotes, and that's one we even talked about in Fortnite and other stuff. Whenever it comes close, is when somebody asks if you're a god, the answer is yes. You say yes. It's like
which raises another question: is a simple yes enough in that situation?
Well, it beats another.
Hey Ray, do you believe in God? Nah, never met him.
No, I never met him. And hello to co-host Vic. Welcome. Good to see you, co-host Vic. So feel free to share some memories that you have of Ghostbusters, and really any of them. We're starting right now in the Ghostbusters, the original movie right now. And then we're just going to take our time, work through with this. We're going to see some of what these gentlemen have. Mark's going to show a couple of clips from the original with us. So, hey, let's bring this up. And Rolos, if you have stuff too to show, make sure you have it. All right. Oh, it's a turntable.
I get it by hand.
To show my stuff. Yep.
Oh, is that a Lego? Is that a Lego?
Oh no, that's the Lecto. The Lecto.
That's the Lego one. Yep, Lego kit. There's a bigger one that's out now, and I'm trying to. That's what I was trying to do before the show too. I want to find I bought a lighting kit for it. I never put it in, so I wanted to put the lighting kit in for the Lego setup. I got to try to find it, but that's an older Lego set.
That's got to be motorized. That's got to be motorized.
Yeah. So that's Lego, and of course that's the Playmobil. You can buy that Playmobil Ghostbusters, and you can buy Stay Puft.
Somebody is knocking here. I'm back in.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and mute. We'll take care. And
Yep,
Mark,
no, all good. Yep.
did you ever get the Ecto popcorn bucket? Ha! There it is. There it is, folks.
Let's see, which way does it open up?
One of ours also has one of the ones that they have for the new movie coming out is the Ghost Trap bucket.
Oh yeah, you got the ghost trap, didn't you, or no?
No, we didn't. I think that was at the AMC. We didn't go. The one we had a Slimer, but she didn't like the way it looked, so we got the Slimer cup. Man, there you go.
Put your popcorn in there.
Yeah. See, we had one that was a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was just like an open bowl though. That was kind of cute because we used it for pistachios and other nuts and stuff like that for a long time. That is nice.
Yeah, it is. They did a nice job with that one, so I keep that out it's out in the family room all the time.
Now we see the 4 Lego of the originals. What is this human on this side?
That's is that Egon?
Oh, with the headset or the special binoculars. Is that Venkman or Stance? Yeah, that's Ray. That's Ray.
That's right. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of cool. You know, the uniforms, everything they did for this movie were really, really good back then. Very, very iconic.
That's a classic cosplay. Yeah, so
exactly.
You can still get the Playmobil Ghostbusters. Playmobil does an awesome job, so you can get the Playmobil and the characters.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought Stay Puft separate. Eventually, I'll have to buy the Ecto one as well again.
Yeah, I love that Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. It's so cute.
He's cute. Yeah,
he's a sailor. He's in New York. It's the weekend.
Get him bleeped. He'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's just so many lines with this movie. I think one of the ones that really got me was the how they just, you know, it was truly like a rags to riches type of thing. These guys, they were down on the luck, hit it gold. Of course, now you got you always got to have your bad guy, and it's easy to say Zool is the bad guy, but we got Inspector Peck. You know, I'm sure that there was not a surprise that was his name, but really William Atherton, one of the great character actors of all time. You know, he played the professor that was trying to rip off. Was that not Weird Science? No. Val Kilmer was in the movie. Oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank. You remember when they took the geniuses, put them in a program, and the teacher was
oh god, what's the Real Genius?
Real Genius, yes, Real Genius. He played a bad guy there. Die Hard, who could forget him? Mrs. McLean, Mrs. McLean, you got anything to say? Pump, you know. Like, although Die Hard 2 is great with the meltdown on the plane, but yes, all right. So Mark's got something here. Master, did you find something?
I think he had something.
Did I find something? No, I was running for the nurse. I was running for the nurse. I'm very
right. Well, you let us know. But if you got anything you want to show, let us know. But back to the movie too. We're talking about how the characters earlier, but bad guy and of course Zool, but William Atherton, the Inspector Peck from the EPA, you know, coming in and stuff like that. You know, all this shut it down. I was like, you sure you want to shut that down? It's like, you know, I mean, the whole cast was done so right in the original movie.
That was perfect casting. Yeah,
it was.
Yes, it's true. This man has no D. Yes, exactly. Well, who was your favorite? If you had to say you had a favorite Ghostbuster, what would you say it would be? Who would you say, Masters?
Oh, that would be very, very difficult to say, as I had my identifying points with all of them. I mean, as a young, I wanted to be funny as Wankman, but wasn't. Right? I was. I had a lot of sympathy with Bill Murray in its role, but in the end, I would go for Eddie Hudson. I would go for Eddie Hudson. That is my favorite character there. Hello.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You like Ernie? Yep, yep. And he was supposed to
Yep.
have a much bigger role in the movie originally, as scripted, and then unfortunately, a lot of his character got taken out and then added to the just basically the end of the movie.
But what he says in the retrospective perspective about it and nowadays, and how he got on in life, taking this as a starting point for being a really successful businessman that he's nowadays known far more than any type of actor. I find it just very impressive, right?
Oh,
Dan
yeah,
Aykroyd and stuff like this. They had more roles. They had more roles and more remarkable stuff, but yeah.
But originally
my
the character was supposed to. Yeah, it didn't hurt his career, but it would have been fun maybe to see him a little bit more. But then he does get his moment in the spotlight too, which is great. So,
here Ghost Vic also goes for the zipper. Ghost Vic goes for the zipper here. And the chat. Yeah, and I heard you talking about villains, right? Which I want to point out, which is really drastic to everything what we are going to discuss. It's a drastic difference. There was not only one good villain, there was several good villains, and you really felt threatened by several entities during the movie as a watcher, I would say, right? And surprising things like the appearance of the dogs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think there were several villains, and they were all excellent. You took them all serious at any moment, and I love that.
Yep.
Yep.
Hello, Nighthawk.
Yeah. No, Masters, what do you have to say? I know you love this movie so much. What are some of the you have the open floor. What would you like to talk about with this movie?
What I would like to talk about this movie is,
and hello, Nighthawk. Good to see you.
It was one of those movies like where they put everything into creativity and into a real new experiment, because everything that we have seen so far in the ghost or paranormal sector was horror splatter stuff, right? I think we had the first Poltergeist at that time already, but that also was very serious stuff. So to make this type of dark comedy, as we already classified it, I think it was the first time it has been done, and it's kind of a founder of a whole genre, because we saw lots more things coming that. Up to The House, the series, The House 1 and The House 2, the Leprechaun stuff, and everything that came out of this till to Lars von Trier and what he did later, which I kind of think were not have been possible without this movie. So kind of like Star Wars, it founded its own genre. It was just a burn out of creativity, and it was not expected to have that success in the first place, and I think that's one of the reasons why it found its way to the all-time classics. I want to talk about that aspect, how it really opened up the world of the horror comedy thing, right? Nothing existed like this before. Horror was horror, and it was nasty, but that was about it. Or you had Hammer, but Hammer tried to be serious. It was just so bad that it was funny, but it wasn't meant to be funny, right? It was meant damn serious, and this not.
Yeah, I got you. It was really, So what else? What other aspects of this movie did you find amazing that you liked, Masters?
Yeah, we had the character combination there, and I
Mhm.
don't want to only talk about the actors themselves, how they fulfilled their roles in a really good way, and how the chemistry really was on spot there. Uh, but the roles have been written very good, right? And I think that
Mhm.
is, and also the obviously the actors have been guided very well on stage, right? On during rolling or whatever. I think Ivan Reitman did a fantastic job, and it is yeah, it is also nivelated from a cinematic point of view, right? The pacing, the changes, the interacting between the various personalities, that all have their point, right? Where it's not just a stupid
Mhm.
secretary, where it's not just a black man randomly coming in, nothing like that. It has all a complete natural feeling, and from a cinematic point of view, that's really difficult art. I think Ivan Reitman did an excellent job on that. That he also can do different, we will see a little bit later.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Mark, you got any follow ups on that?
Oh, just yeah, what very well said. But there's just so much right going on this movie. It's just unbelievable how you don't get that often, right? Where everything just hits the spot, right? Where it's just perfect, you know. So
Yeah,
it's hard to believe how good, every minute of this movie is just so damn good. I mean, there's no bad scenes. There's nothing that oh, I can't. This is a slow part of this movie, or oh crap, we're stuck with this part of the movie now. I got to watch this part. There's like there's an app where you can tells you where to go for a potty break during the movie. I'm like, I don't know where you would go in Ghostbusters, right? You wouldn't want to miss any of it. And even the smaller characters, like we said, Rick Moranis is the accountant, and then that party that he's having, and then the girl that he's talking to. I think that's with the blonde hair. That's Casey Kasem's wife. I'm forgetting her name now. A
Oh
famous
gosh.
DJ, and yeah, like even her like little interactions. And he's talking about, well, that's so and
Mhm.
so, and they have their money saved in a 401k, and like all the little details and the lines that are just so well done that there's nothing that and it all fits into the puzzle
Let me get on the
of the
character.
great.
Yeah, I remembered her name. I used to know her name. Let me
Yeah,
see if I can get it
she's
pulled up here. Yeah.
famous character, and comedian. Yeah, but yeah, it's
there's
just that little interaction there in that party is just it's comedy gold.
party
And
is hilarious, and it's also a
yeah,
very correctly social study of the 80s, isn't it? Right? What they
yeah,
say, how they say it, the stuff they eat, how it's presented. That's so 80s. I just love
yeah,
it. Curb your capitalism, right? No, and the accountant
yeah.
going around telling everybody how he can save millions for them. I love. I just love it. That's so 80s. That's so 80s.
Yeah, no,
That's so
it's
80s.
yeah, it's just that scene is just so freaking hysterical. And then you go to like the classic ones, like 40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes, the dead rising from the grave, human sacrifice,
Yes.
dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Yes. So
It's
we're going to hopefully touch on this one a little bit later, but not much. I've seen one of the trailers. I do not want to see the second trailer because I saw
No, I'm
something in the
waiting
first
for the
trailer
movie.
that got my attention because this is coming out Friday. So
Yeah,
all right.
it's almost there.
Well, let's go ahead and beyond the first movie and like as fit because there's
oh,
so many other things.
I have that
Yeah, go
clip
ahead.
to play from the
Oh
first
yeah, go
trailer.
ahead. Yes, Mark. All right.
If you want to share it, yep. Well,
Yep. Go
here's the
ahead, Mark.
classic,
Yep.
classic
Fine
one.
with
Yep.
our system until the power grid was shut off by Dickless here.
Is this true?
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
That's awesome.
Here's another. Here's another one. Man.
Go, Ghostbusters. We're ready to believe you.
That's a commercial. That's not. I don't think that's in the movie. Yeah.
Still looks good. Still looks good.
Costume, look at the costume. Look at
7 days a week. No job is too big. No fee is too big.
I use that line over all the time. He's like, "Can you fix it?" It's like, and
No
then of
job
course
is too big. No fee is too big. That's awesome.
back off, man. I'm a scientist.
I love this plan.
The music too.
Let's do it. This job is definitely not worth
You
$11
know,
a year.
dude, 11,000. On the time of it, that back then was a huge chunk of money, and then the music also, like also many of the 70s and 80s, the great movies were just, the music made it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the music made a difference.
And whenever you're right. And then whenever our friends wanted to do it, like if we'd propose doing it, they're like, "I love this plan, man. I'm glad to be part of it." Like, it's just like enters your lexicon, It's just, and you're right, Dad, man. The music is just so good too.
Yeah. Absolutely. But we talked about that Battlestar Galactica and everything, was because that's what the 70s, 80s, they had the music intertwined within the story. The music helped advance the plot, whether TV show or movie shows. Music was critical. Sound effects, like I said, the library scene had that soft music in the background, but it was like that high pitched piano, very soft. Really, really things that could add to the movie. So, all right, do we have any more that we want to talk about on this first movie, or do we want to go ahead and get to Ghostbusters 2?
If I can tell you, I will refer lots more to the first movie, but not now in relation to all the others. We will always come back to it, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Ghostbusters 2 in New York again, right? We see the Ghostbusters.
All right.
Got
very short.
Well, looks like my Gators are going to lose today. Short. Dang it! But hey, this is a movie I had problems with. I truly did, because I just didn't get the slime stuff. I mean, the gooey slime under the thing, and the walking Statue of Liberty and things like that. This one seemed like it did not catch like the first one, and to me, and it's a movie I still struggle to watch to this day. We got Carpathia or whoever in the art in the wall, and of course Dana and Bankman have broken up, and we get all these other studs. But how did y'all like Ghostbusters 2, the sequel? And it seemed like it was a long while after it should have been, because I think it was probably 89 or something. It was quite a bit longer after the original Ghostbusters.
It was lots later, yeah. Well, I think it was just a cash cow. And this is what I really put on Ivan Reitman. If you get the chance to make such hilarious movies, it basically tells the same story once more again. It just sets it sets up new villains, and as you say, pretty senseless CGI stuff. Okay, it has some 2 or 3 good, interesting stuff. So I wouldn't disagree. I would disagree. I like the walking Statue of Liberty, but I give you the point. It's not really as senseful. It looks like very lazy in all of its points. And what I will say, what bothers me the most, this movie doesn't even have a real villain, right? We were speaking about several villains, and they were all good and all believable in the first part. And now we have kind of a crappy Highlander copy. I don't know what, but nothing that really I can take serious as a villain, and there is no conclusion in the story. There is a lot of story breaks. So I was bothered by. I think it's just a lazy cash cow. They saw there is a lot more in it. Maybe it was a studio contract that Ivan Reitman was forced to make a second movie on it. I don't know that, but I think it's just lazy stuff. And the best thing that you can say about it, it's boring. It's Ghostbusters. Complete Ghostbusters, original stuff and everything. Story same as in the first movie, but it's just lazy.
Yeah. What do you think, Mark? Oh, he muted. Hey, oh, I forgot the part. Oh, okay, he'll be back. But yeah, I can agree. The worst thing with many things is lazy. You know, one of the worst things we've always had with sequels is lazy. It's like just throw a name on it and you got a sequel. You know, or
yeah. And as a fan, I mean,
yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. You go.
I say that, man, you are absolutely right. And as the 1984 movie was such a success, and really everybody of us was waiting for more. And I remember that I was very excited when the Ghostbusters 2 got announced, right? And yeah, it could have been so much more than that, right? And you go home and say, okay, I'll take it. It's better than nothing. There is one or two laughs there. There's one or two good scenes there. But all in all, it was disappointing. You were waiting so long and you wanted to see your old Ghostbusters, and everything fell kind of flat. Let's say it like this. Everything fell flat, including the jokes.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we got one of the worst ones too, and trying to not jump into that dog pile. Star Wars. Look what happened when we finally got the new sequels 40 years later. We didn't get what we wanted, which was the characters at their natural and the characters as we remembered. We got something different.
Yeah. And as we will see, it has been later on tried with the Ghostbusters brand as well to do something completely different. And this almost never works out. It almost never works out. So this is something that I give the second Ghostbuster as a good. Is it an entertaining movie? Yes, it's a little lazy if you compare it to the first one, but the first one was spectacular, and it's not that easy to copy that recipe a second time, right? You only get the perfect cake one time, right? That's the way it is. But it is still a Ghostbusters movie, and it is still entertainment, and it still feels genuine within the Ghostbusters brand. Let's say it like this within this universe that Ivan Reitman has created there. And that's what I'm going to give it for good. Is it lazy? Yes. Could have been lots better than that. Yes, it could have been. But it is Ghostbusters, which other stuff, in my opinion, isn't.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the second movie. That's really not too much to say. I mean,
there's not. I didn't like the silliness of the ending. You got the Statue of Liberty walking through, and the song that I can't remember which
Living in America.
No, it was. I wish it was that. That would have been better. But no, it was just all. It was. It was one of those girl band songs, and I can't remember what it was, but it was like, it just was. I can't remember the song, but it was one of those happy songs and like party songs. And then all of a sudden this joy and happiness was all that was needed. Brotherly love to overcome the evil, and the evil could not fight and sustain. It was really a hokey ending to me. That
and
is
this
where I really
and everything. No, that was over the top.
Yeah. No, exactly.
No, that's why I say it. The second movie, it's not really much to say about it. On a boring afternoon, you can do nothing wrong with that movie, And if you never had looked into the franchise, it is definitely a part of it, and you should watch it. You will still get kind of 88 minutes, I think it was.
Yeah.
Not that long. Good average entertainment and the Ghostbusters feeling, but that's about it. That's about it. There's nothing more that I have to say about it, to be honest. Right?
Yeah.
What I can repeat, I was a little bit annoyed because they obviously tried to play around a little bit with European history, right? And if you want to have a kind of a copy of a famous historical European villain like Vlad Dracul, better known as Dracula, right? You please do a better job. That was a lot of Europeans were annoyed by that. I say, come on, no, they did it better in the 20s. That man was just not harassing enough. He was just not a villain. It was just like more a beauty queen with evil psychopathic aspects. Then I took him serious as an archdemon or anything like that. What he tried to be there, and his approach overtaking the world with a hairdresser at his side there. What God. No, I never took it for serious. So I never felt like, right, this cannot be won by the Ghostbusters. At any point of the movie, I knew they will sack him in. And this is something that did not happen in the first movie. In the first movie, you were several times on the brink to believe that this might not have a good end. And even in the end fight, they made you believe at any time everything can go down the drain here, right?
Yeah.
And you never had that feeling in the second movie. It was just running through. Okay, there's this kind of an evil guy. Here's this kind of a lame, stupid assistant. It was just not a threat. Let's say it like that. And then pink ooze. Pink ooze never is a threat. Get that, Hollywood, please. Make it at least green. Make it blue. Put things in it. But pink ooze is not threatening.
Exactly.
So that's my
the
review
pink
of the
ooze,
second.
secret of the ooze. All we need is some turtles, you know.
And that's also if we want to review the characters here, right? You might say, okay, it's the original staff. Yeah, but as said, many years later, and obviously not with the same motivation, at least one or two of the actors didn't had the same motivation to do the second part anymore, because in the meantime they became real stars with big projects, going in different directions, making their own movies, no? And especially Dan Aykroyd, he was not really interested in doing it, and I think you feel that, right? He probably took the money there and did not what he could do or what he can do, what we all know, right? And that's a little bit of a pity. And another aspect is this balance, all these little details that Mark mentioned that are there in the first movie, right? That you have all these little sidekicks, that you have a lot of cameos and that they all work, right? That the chemistry, that there's not a single cameo or a single sidekick in the first part that you see. Now, what was that right now, right? Why is that there? And you have a lot of this in the second movie. And probably my biggest critic is that in the second movie, they started really to push forward product placement. It's getting worse still, but you can see that they hold products right into your nose, right? And I don't like that too much.
Yes. Let's see. Is Mark? Mark's back. Yes, Mark. Hey, Mark, we were talking about the secret of the ooze in Ghostbusters 2.
The secret of this ooze is it was ugly.
Yeah.
And the biggest threat of is that but by the end of the 80s, men were still afraid, really afraid about getting covered with any type of pink or glitterous stuff. Nowadays, nobody would get afraid of it. Probably a lot of people would jump in, but for us, it was still like shocking.
Yes.
Don't put me into pink ooze, what my friends will say.
Yeah, Mark, are you back? You said you were back. Did we lose Mark now?
No, probably.
No, I did.
There
I did
he
my
is.
typical boomer. I was talking and no one could hear me because I had my mic on mute, but I tried to do that at least once a stream. So why not?
Yeah.
But
And I'm happy
like,
that you do that as I started with.
So just my son was back from college this weekend, so I was just saying goodbye to him. So so I'm back now, and Mike is unmuted. But no, I never saw the second movie for like 30 years. It was like one of those things, like I heard it was bad, and I'm like, I'm not gonna watch it. Like I don't you know, that's it. I'm not gonna. And then I finally like, oh, eventually I gotta watch it, and it's nowhere near as good as the first movie. There's a couple of good moments, and the story is okay, but it's just it just can't hold a candle to that first movie. And the first movie is lightning in a bottle, and it's not a terrible movie, but it's when I finally watched it, and I own the DVD, I'm just like, I'm not watching this movie, not gonna watch it, and it just doesn't get the job done. I mean, the jokes aren't as funny, and it's just it's a disappointment. Although there's good stuff to it, and Vigo was, that as a villain is pretty good, I think. But it just
whoa!
Got over to
I was just
Ghostbusters 2.
making the point.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, here we got our first Ghostbusters 2 controversial, or the first Ghostbusters controversial at all today. I was just making the point, my dear Mark, that the Europeans were wildly enraged about Vigo because he's obviously, or they try obviously to copy a real historical cultic villain, Vlad Dracul. And they did a bad job. That guy was not a threat at all. It was just a long hair, grungy. He could also have played at the Crash Test Dummies at that time, no problem. That wasn't a villain.
Well, his voice was also dubbed. That's okay. The original actor was mad too because they dubbed over his original voice, if I'm remembering correctly, of Vigo.
Yeah.
So so he was Max von Sydow did the voice. So so he was pissed off with the original actor when he said was really not happy about it. Yeah. I mean, I didn't mind him as a villain. I just it's mediocre. The movie's mediocre all the way around. So and have and when you have a good movie has to have a phenomenal villain. So I thought he was okay as a villain, but it just doesn't just not the conflict there. It just doesn't work. But it's
not convincing.
The idea of it,
convincing.
Yeah. But the idea of it was an interesting idea, with the painting and the ghost and the painting, and but it's just one of those where it exists, but do I really care about it? No, unfortunately, yeah. So
I gave as a resume. We pretty much had the same, apart from Vigo here, and I gave as a resume that I think it's still a good. It's a good 88 minutes of entertainment. It's still a Ghostbusters movie. It has its flaws, and we spoke about them. There's a lot of things missing. And when you came in again, we were just talking about the sidekicks that have happened in the second part, but really fell flat. And all the chemistry was not like in the first part. But it is still, and I gave it as a good to this movie. It is still a Ghostbusters movie, and there's no
Yeah.
doubt about it. Right? It's not the best one. It's not even the second best one, in my opinion. If I will be asked about a ranking later, I can trigger you a little bit with that already. But it is a real Ghostbusters movie.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah. But I mean, it was funny. It just like I didn't watch it. I think for 30 years or whatever. So, and then I finally did. And I was like, oh well, I didn't really miss much. Yeah.
No, it holds, and that's another thing. When we say that a movie that is made 5 years, 6 years earlier, under completely different technical conditions, and at that time, because it advanced rapidly, cinema advanced rapidly at that period of time, right?
Yeah.
You can, and we are coming to the conclusion: the effects of part number one still hold up very good. You still have the feeling for the movie, and it doesn't matter if they're not perfect. I cannot say that about the second part at all. I think the special effect do not hold up good at all. And as they have been such a centerpiece of the movie, right? The pink ooze and all its story. It was the centerpiece of the movie. Let's say it like this, right? It really bothers me today. No, I even see more flaws today than I saw in the old days. And even in the old days, I immediately saw that's not the same vibes here. And maybe it was foreshadowing, like a little bit, okay, we have now all these new technical possibilities, and probably they bought a kind of effect or whatever. And so that was very expensive at that time. It still is, but not that expensive. So they tend to overuse their effects and focus on the effects. And that foreshadowed the whole CGI stuff. I prefer a good story and the mediocre CGI.
Yeah, because just to read a sentence from the article about it. Yeah, so the movie was filmed with a budget of 30 to 40 million. Took place. This is Ghostbusters 2. Took place between November and March in Los Angeles and New York. Production was rushed compared to the original film's 13-month shooting schedule. Large sections of Ghostbusters 2 were scrapped after poorly received test screenings. New scenes were written and filmed during reshoots between March and April '89, only 2 months before its release. So, yeah, it's a disjointed movie, and they rushed it. And I don't think Bill Murray wanted to do the sequel. If I'm remembering too, they had to kind of convince him to do the sequel. So
I already talked about that. He didn't want it.
About that.
Cash cow for Reitman and for Murray. So
yeah,
and you feel that.
But we did get a lot of great toys and video games, as Lois Vick is talking about it, and so it did keep the franchise going. Yeah.
If we're talking the original Star Wars movies, for example, there are also good ones, better ones, and the best one. We don't need to talk about that, right? But they're also not equivalent in quality. There's also a couple of bummers, and not talking about stuff like Ewoks that you can sentimentally be connected with, but which is cinematical wise trash, right? So it's not all the same quality, but I insist it's Ghostbusters, and I have my point why I insist so much on that, right?
Yep.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, Ghostbusters 2, we I think kind of agreed we're kind of weak in there. Let's skip to Afterlife. Let's go to the most recent one that precedes this new one coming out Friday, which is Frozen Kingdom, which we're excited about. Now, what
Empire.
about Frozen Empire? Frozen Kingdom?
Yep.
Why am I keep
Frozen
calling
Empire.
Kingdom? Frozen Empire.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
That might be stuck in my head, but yeah, Masters. What did you think of? What did you think with Afterlife? Because honestly, I thought, because we actually went on a stream once with somebody and had some fun with it, and it seemed to be the sequel we should have gotten. It had the heart, it had the spirit, it had the hat tip to the original, and of course it's like 30 years to it's like 30 years later. we didn't get and unlike the Star Wars franchise, which ended up bringing the actors back, but we didn't get what we wanted to. We didn't get what we wanted to in this one because
No,
unfortunately,
they
Harold
brought him back
Ramis
to
had
destroy them.
because Harold Ramis had passed away. But I think what we did get a respect to him, a respect to the original, a respect to the old guard, come back together. We didn't get what we got in 2016 with them all in cameo roles and stuff like that, but we got them together as a team. The Ghostbusters came back. The franchise was, reborn. And but so with the Afterlife, what did you think with Afterlife?
Who do you want to hear, boss?
Who's first?
Go Masters. Yeah.
Okay. So I think that your first words about this movie say it all, or about the trailer of the upcoming movie on Friday. You said you are all excited about the upcoming movie Frozen Empire. That's what you said. And that's the best that you can say after not all of us. There are a few exceptions, as we will see, but most of us really didn't like, if not to say hated, 2016 Ghostbusters. And it wasn't really easy to come back with that. There was a lot of skepticism under fanatics like me when the new Ghostbusters movie was announced a couple of years ago, and I really was afraid they will even mess it up more than they did 2016. I was not sure which direction will this go and stuff and so on. And due to all this, I got all what I wanted, and I got even more. I got a glimpse for the next generation, and I'm as you. I'm very excited. I think they did a marvelous job once again in putting together the actors, the adults, while-wise the kids. I think that little 10-year-old girl, that little Egan, let's say it like this, put it together perfectly and really carried the role a lot. And as you said, that man, there's so many real life sentimentalism in this movie that it feels just good, heartwarming, and it feels the right thing to do what they did, right? If we're talking about Harold Ramis, I mean, it really was like this in real life, that especially Bill Murray was not too keen on having contact with most of the guys. And I guess they had a kind of a loose relationship, but none of them really had a relationship with Harold Ramis until it was too late. And all of them kind of regretted that. Murray gave a part of really terrible comments after the death of Ramis. Yeah, it came all together here. Right? As you say, they gave him the respect, but they also took their time with their friends personally to apologize for things and to make it a round ending and give it a fresh start. And I'm all excited about that fresh start. I have a lot of confidence in that the second movie now will not be worse than the first movie of Ivan Reitman's son. I'm looking forward for Friday. I'm all excited, and I'm very, 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 very thankful that this movie has been done, as it is a new hope for a very old and very good and very beloved franchise, and as it shows to all the other franchises that tend to get destroyed today, that it is possible to make it better, and that it is possible to get the old fan base back. If you're just respectful.
Absolutely.
Very well said. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, all right. Well, Mark, Afterlife.
Yeah. So actually, I got to the movie theater late, so I missed the first 5 minutes with Egon getting killed. So it didn't. I had to wait till it came out on streaming to see that scene. So it kind of I shouldn't say ruined the movie, but kind of wrecked I got stuck in traffic. There was a traffic jam. So, and I didn't know watching that whole movie, I didn't know that whole scene that had happened with so it kind of messed up the viewing experience for that movie. That was my fault, but then it resonated a little bit more in terms of what happens. You kind of knew I knew that he had passed, but I didn't know that he had passed on that farm and that whole scene that had happened there. Which is kind of, it's like, can you rewind it? Talk about missing like a important part of a movie.
Oh yeah.
That was probably the worst timing to miss something like that. But I did like the movie. I didn't think it was it's tough to compare to how do you compare it to Ghostbusters? Or you really can't do the original. It's just pretty tough, but I thought they had the spirit was in the right place, and it felt like a sequel or part of continuation of the story, and it kind of did make sense years later how to pick that up. The original Ghostbusters, it's more it's pretty much a cameo, so I don't know what's gonna happen in the new movie, but it was a nice little cameo there, and I did like the the young actors. I thought they were cute. They did a nice job of with the acting and telling the story. So I thought the kid from Finn from Stranger Things, Finn Wolfhard, he kind of fit in, and then of course you had Spengler's daughter. She was good. Carrie, I'm looking at the cast now, and then McKenna Grace was good. Yeah, so they all did a nice. They all did a nice job with the movie. So it did feel like a sequel, not like the 2016 Abomination. I thought, I don't know what the hell they were doing with that movie.
They found I also think they found the right characters to carry this movie, right?
Yeah.
Just towards to the end when this really beautiful conclusion comes out. Also the adult male role, I like it. I mean that is, after a long time in cinema, that's a male I can identify with, because he's a nerd. I'm a nerd, right? He's a little bit stubborn. He's a little bit out of the line. He tries to be funny and it won't work. He tries to be romantic and it won't work. But whatever he did, they don't put him down there, right? They don't dumb him down like, okay, he's the stupid teacher here. We're just going to use him as a sidekick. No, he has his role and he has his part in the solution. And I also think the character type is very well done. The reaction that he shows to the Ghostbusters devices and all this stuff. The science discussion that he has with little Egan and stuff like that. It's all very well done. It's all very well done.
Yeah, no, it's got the right spirit to it. The 2016 movie just didn't know what the heck universe was going on with that movie. Now, I know some people that I have a good friend who loves that movie. He thinks it's hysterical. I'm like, I didn't laugh one time in the whole movie. But this movie, Afterlife, is a nice continuation of the story.
Has your good friend financial bounce with Paul Feig? I mean, in the way that he's get paid for that, saying it.
No.
You're sure? Check on that.
Yeah, he there's some certain people like whatever you like, right? But he liked it, and Chris Hemsworth is, unfortunately, his acting is good in that movie, and they saw how good he was at the comedic delivery. Even though I don't, he had a couple maybe of the funnier moments.
Yeah, but it is just you're right. Chris Hemsworth was not bad comedy wise, and
But unfortunately, then they saw that, and then they tried to make Thor a comedian, which ruined a lot of the later Marvel movies.
That's what I wanted to say. They decided they decided to destroy Thor before they even destroyed Thor. That's what they did, right? Yeah. Because I found it from the perspective of Chris Hemsworth. You're absolutely right. It was the right decision to take that role because he had the ability to show another aspect of himself as an actor, and he didn't do that bad. I agree with you, but And there's the main problem. I don't know. Well, I will stop talking before. First, I have to ask our dear dad, man. We're already ranting on 2016, and you probably
I'm
don't want to
waiting.
talk about that
We'll get
movie
to
right now.
2016 separately.
Right. So I will stop and come back to that later.
Okay, yeah, we're going to spend some time on that.
For sure. Yep.
Yeah.
You see, I'm getting hot.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it.
I'm boiling up here. No, but again, I think, and Mark said it very right. I call this one the third Ghostbusters movie, and I think it is capable to pass the torch. I wasn't expecting another classical Ghostbusters movie, but it did what Indiana Jones, for example, or James Bond were unable to do. The torch is passed. A new audience is won. Kids are hilariously excited about Ghostbusters once again, and also old grumpy nerds like me are kind of appeased. I'm appeased. I'm excited. I'm fine with that, and I'm absolutely not against it that it's going to a next generation, right? And not in that way. It's great.
Yeah. No, it was a nice.
Ragnar's here. Hey,
nice
Ragnar's
surprise,
here.
Hell, how's it going?
Hello, Ragnar.
Yep. All right. So
Hello,
Afterlife is really
Ragnar.
I'm wondering if I need to go back and watch Afterlife one more time before the end of the.
I'm gonna try to watch it again
Frozen
too.
Kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Frozen Empire. God, why do I keep saying Kingdom? I maybe have dinosaurs on the brain. Exactly. So.
Or Last Kingdom and Game of Thrones, whatever you're doing.
Yeah. So, all right. So, do we have any more toys or attractive things? Rolo, do you have anything to show?
No, I have, as you know, I had the big sale a couple of weeks ago, so I have everything packed up here, basically.
You slime, but I tell you what. Why did you decide Slimer is your little? You love Slimer. It's all on your pages, on your streams and stuff.
Yeah.
What about Slimer? Let's talk about Slimer. We talk about characters and humans.
Yeah.
What makes Slimer so great to this franchise? Before we get to 2016.
For me, especially, well, that's the only role that I could imagine myself playing in this movie as well. So I could identify very much with him. He means it good. He does it bad. So I identified a lot with Slimer, right?
Right.
Slimer's just such a funny character. And of course, he becomes a hero later. He's a bad guy in the first movie. And then if you watch the cartoons, Slimer becomes, almost one of the Ghostbusters in some ways, right? If you
Right.
the cartoon universe. And we also should mention too that there was a TV show called The Ghostbusters years ago. With it was who were the players in that? That was one of the guys from the monkey. Who was in that? Let me look it up. I'm forgetting the actor's name, but so then they actually had to that's why the cartoon is called The Real Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
And
right.
so it was a live action show for kids. So it was Larry Storch, if everyone remembers Larry Storch, great comedian, and Forrest Tucker and Bob Burns. Yeah. So
Forrest Tucker. Oh my God. F Troop guy.
Yeah, F Troop. Yep.
Wow.
So,
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, so Larry Storch, Forrest Tucker, the F Troop guys. And Bob Burns was Spencer the gorilla and that. And Lou Scheimer was also another voice. So so then they had to get the name, the Ghostbusters, license the name. There's all kinds of agreements and things to get the name. So there's the Wikipedia article if you want to look at that or share that.
There's the article. There's the thing.
So there are 15 episodes in 1975. So that's why you see the real Ghostbusters. Yeah. So
and wasn't there also? I think there was a cartoon show that's called Ghostbusters that was running a little bit earlier on the scene that has a car in it and a monkey.
Yeah.
And, and I
Yeah.
don't
So
know what.
this is the live action version. Yeah. So
I loved it. I loved it.
yeah. So that's an interesting side note to the to the Ghostbusters. Yeah. So they call it the original Ghostbusters. So which is interesting. Yeah.
But I just recommend who has not seen that series, go for it. It's hilarious. It's well made, and I want the toys. There's a toy line about it, and I want that car. I just want that car, but obviously you cannot find it, right? Forget it.
Tough to find. Yep.
Yeah, far more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, I had something for my sister
Yeah.
just a second. So
No problem. Yeah. So there was a 1980. Here's the cartoon, 86 cartoon. Yep.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead and
let me
show
put
Mark.
that
Do you
in.
have?
Put
Yeah.
that in.
Yeah,
I'll
let's go
put
ahead and
that
take a
in.
look. Because see, Vic had actually asked about some of the video games because this franchise has had tons of stuff in it.
Yeah.
Just video games, cartoons, all kinds of things. And I'm glad you're here for that, Mark, because
Toys.
that's the one part I did not get into was the cartoons of it. I mean, I did remember they had some the fakey Ghostbusters, then they had the real Ghostbusters. That was always a weird thing,
Yeah.
But when you're young, you don't understand the lawyers take control and names mean things.
Yeah. Here, let me share my screen so you can see some
It
pictures.
says the accountant.
Yes.
Oh God.
Yes. Let's see here. We got Mark here with this. He brings up. All right.
I mean, I live in
Here.
Mexico,
Yes.
right?
So
I live in
there's
Mexico.
Filmation's
I'm not-
Ghostbusters. Yep.
Cartel. What? Sorry?
What's that?
Mark.
I wasn't sure. Yeah. Oh yeah. Can you hear me? Yep.
Yeah.
So this is Filmation's Ghostbusters. See, so with the ape and that's that's the live, the animated version. Of course, then that's why you had something called the real Ghostbusters here, where these guys were actually the first real Ghostbusters. So, which is hysterical. But with the same timing. So there's the logo, and here's here's Larry Storch. So in the Ghostbusters collection there. So that's
Simply Steve is here. Hey, Simply
Steve. Yep.
Filmation was very based in the 70s live version.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Which is hysterical. So
So the
a lot
cartoon
of people
is on Tubesy. Watch it. If you haven't watched it, it's really well made and it has a lot of really good episodes. I loved it as a kid.
See, I didn't know about the other version, the Larry Storch version or the Forrest Tucker. I did not know about those.
Yeah, it's very obscure. But
Also
I think the cartoon was seen. The original cartoon had more life, I think. But yeah, here are the guys here. Yeah, the Filmation's Ghostbusters. Yeah.
That's funny. The two guys both of them from F Troop.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Of course, it's interesting. They brought Slimer. We're trying to talk about Slimer. Slimer is one of Rollo's favorites because he's on everything Rollo has, and we see his plushie there. And it was interesting. They brought Slimer back for the cartoon just to be kind of like the comic relief and like the little hangout buddy and stuff like that with them. It was interesting. It was kind of a different dynamic than the first movie, itself.
I told you there are toys.
So they're the toys. Yep.
Yeah. Simply said it was a fun. The guy in the gorilla suit was the Tracy character.
Yeah. Yep. So there's Tracy. There's the characters. Yep. From the show. Yep.
Eddie is the one with the pilot hat.
Yes. Let me flip over to this here, folks. Any images, companies, websites shared for informational discussion purposes only. Nothing is intended to promote the sale or purchase of any items to anyone, especially those under the age of 18. It's one of our standard disclaimers here, folks. We're just showing stuff for entertainment purposes, not to sell anything, not recommending websites, and definitely not to children. You get your parents' permission. So,
Yeah, there's the old figures. Yeah, of course, those are expensive as heck right now, probably, right? Yeah, I'm guessing. Yeah, but pretty cool. They're pretty well done action figures too, I have to say. They're pretty cool. Yep.
They are really cool and they're really well made. And as I say, the car is also existing and they have one playset. So I really would want that figure, but I also would want Marshall Bravestar and so many other stuff. So
yeah,
it is what it is. As a collector, you never finish with nothing.
Right? Yeah. But yeah, these have got to be, I'm guessing, expensive right now. I have no idea what they.
Yeah, they're high ranging. They're high ranging, especially if you want them mint on car.
There's the play set. Yeah. There's the car. Yeah, well, this is the perfect. Yeah. This is J.C. Penney catalogs. That's the best way to find. I probably have that in some of my old. I might even have that J.C. Penney from that year, the catalog. But this is a great way to see what everything costs and what was offered, and look at the original ads. And that car is really cool too because it can fly.
It is really cool. It has a lot of functions.
Yeah,
it's cool. It's really cool.
So, Mark, do you think any chance of talking some of this on Geekery with the movie coming out Friday?
Yeah, we could do some of that tonight. Yeah, definitely talk a little Ghostbusters. Yeah, I got to add that to the poster for the week. Yep.
Are you going to try to see it this weekend?
Yeah, Mark? I was just looking. I might go on Thursday at 5 because we have the clubhouse at 10 p.m. So maybe I'll cut out. I got to see what my schedule is like.
Did they release it Friday? Thursday? Thursday. It was released Friday.
It's Thursday around here.
Okay, I had to see.
Yeah, it's always Thursday, but
right.
I might go. I might go if I can. I'll go. Yeah.
I had to see to get the Mississippi if we can find it and watch Afterlife again to watch Frozen. Yeah. Empire. Yeah, I got the name right. So, but yeah, it was interesting how they kind of took some freedom with the character's design. Like Egon, oh my gosh, that was a non-Egon haircut,
Well, sometimes they don't have the likeness approval too, so I don't know if that's part of it. But sometimes the actors say you can't use my likeness. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the others are kind of something close. I mean, that's just Egon was a difference.
And it's only the hair. It's only the hair, to be honest. You can you know who he's supposed to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
here's
the
Ghostbusters game.
The game. Yeah, all right. He said Vierhesvik earlier said he liked in the game how you can walk up to the painting and must be Ghostbusters 2. Interact with it and talks like it's still this all-powerful being and not just a painting. Well, that's kind of like it was in the movie, though.
Yep. So this video game was really well done. The first Ghostbusters, and then they remastered it. They re-released it, and it's on Steam, and of course I own it. So, it's years after the movie, but it's a very well done. Very well done game. So, here's a good article: list of Ghostbuster video games. 1984. So, Ghostbusters on the C64. We'll skim through quick. So this is 1987.
Annoying. You had this Ghostbusters sign and was kind of Pac-Man-ish, and it was full of bugs. I had that game on the Commodore.
Okay.
And the problem is you never fit. There you see.
I love that game. I love that game. I remember that now. I went to a friend's house to play the Commodore 64.
Oh Jesus! But it was full of bugs. If you entered the wrong building, you could start over and over again. I never managed to get level 3. Never.
But still, it didn't matter. It was Ghostbusters, and you could catch the ghosts. Yeah, exactly. And simply Steve said also the building had the word Zool on it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I remember this game, Mark. Thanks for pulling this up today.
So real Ghostbusters 87.
Right.
That's when the games are getting a little bit more advanced, slightly more advanced. I mean, that's state-of-the-art graphics in 87. Yeah.
That was the arcade version, I think, and because I played that a
Arcade,
lot.
right? Yeah.
And I mean, arcade still today, I think it's top notch, right? It's just a different feeling.
Yeah. It was an Atari 2600 game. Yep.
Oh, they had a 2600. I wonder what that looked like, because I know the 2600 had like Empire Strikes Back, had one of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh yeah, they had that, most of the licensed titles, but they almost all were crappy.
Yeah. So, this doesn't have enough pictures, unfortunately, but
Extreme Ghostbusters. Yes, we remember all that, how they did things like that. Yep.
there's not enough. They need to add some
2016
pictures.
has
for
a
this article.
game.
Yeah. Yep.
God, oh God.
Yeah, video game. Critically panned, being the worst reviewed game of 2016's. 3 days after its release, and $12 million in debt, Fireforge filed for bankruptcy. So it took out the company. Yeah. So, ouch. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a comment for that, but I will again wait till we talk about 2016.
Yeah.
But
these games are a way
games,
to relive the universe and have fun in the game and pretend you're a character. And you can't get that effect from a movie. And actually, video games are bigger business than movies these days. So,
they are
overall. So, Ghostbusters: Spirits Unleashed is an epic exclusive for now. I guess that's the new video game coming out. So you can get that on Epic, where we play our Fortniters. Ghostbusters VR Academy, launching at Hologate locations. Yeah.
But I think that's funny if you want to observe that for a second, right? To speak generally about licensed video games. We had like the tendency of the last 40 years was, okay, if they got an expensive license, you almost could guarantee that the game wouldn't be that good. But recently I observed like a turnaround there. And as another example, I would say the new RoboCop game, for example, right? We got so many really crappy RoboCop games, but the new one is really, really, really good, right? Hogwarts Legacy was good, especially all the Harry Potter games. And I would love to see that happening to Ghostbusters as well, so that we get decent, good games instead of just put a license on it and make a crappy game, what we saw in the past, right?
Yep. So here's the top 10 Ghostbusters games.
These games are getting so detailed, though. That's what's so amazing. It's just,
Lego.
You can't go wrong with Lego, though. Can't go wrong with Lego games. And once again, we got Slimer. But that's two, not just Slimer. We got the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. What kind of franchises do you have where you got bad characters that are lovable and you want to hug them?
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Planet Coaster Ghostbusters, yep.
Wir haben noch die Extreme Ghostbusters, richtig. I forgot about the Extreme Ghostbusters.
Exactly. So, Masters, be thinking about any other areas you want to talk about in the Ghostbusters franchise, because we've covered Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2, Afterlife. We're going to talk a little bit about what we're hoping for Frozen Empire, but we're going to hit 2016 after we hit this. But think of any other areas of Ghostbusters you want to talk about, okay?
That the aspect that I want to talk about, I would think, let's spend some minute on the cultural phenomenon.
Okay.
Ghostbusters.
Well, we'll do that after we finish these games. So, Fortnite? Yes.
Yeah,
we got
Fortnite.
Skins in Fortnite. I got the Ecto Glider though too.
That's cool. Yep. And of course, Real Ghostbusters Arcade, which we were just showing Masters was talking about before. Yep.
Yeah. That was great.
And 87, yes, those look great for then. Yep. Oh, here's 84. The 84 game.
The Commodore 64. Yes, I love the Commodore 64. I so love the Commodore 64. Love that.
Look at the graphics back then. Yeah.
Yes,
that was really good for back then. Yep.
Exactly.
And the video game remastered, I have this. This is really, really well done. Yeah. So
Yeah, well,
it's great,
that's
yeah.
a shocker. Remastered, it's a shocker, right? It's
Well,
really
no, but I
good.
mean, they did, it's the same game, but just the better, better
Yeah,
graphic. Yeah.
drastically better graphics and drastically
Yeah.
better handling, right? Which was a
Yeah.
problem with the power devices, with the ghost traps. It was so
Yeah.
difficult to steer, and the remake is really has a good handling on it.
Yeah. The only thing, there's no co-op in the Ghostbusters game. That would have been fun to play together. Yep. So that's I guess they're saying this is the 2009. This is the remaster. So I guess it's the same game. Yeah, Ghostbusters the video game. Yeah. So those are pretty. I think they're pretty cheap right now to purchase. I'm guessing.
All right.
Not
I
too
think they
expensive.
were. I think right now that we have the
Well,
new
probably
movie,
now. Yeah, go up.
probably
Yeah.
not the right time to buy.
Okay,
Yeah.
now we covered the video games too. Now let's do something with this. You want to talk about the cultural phenomena before we end, okay?
Yeah, and one thing here for our Mark D. Mark, there were comics, no?
Oh yeah, for
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
Well,
A lot of
let's do
comic books. Yep,
let's end up with the comics, and then the culture phenomenon. Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
If there's any other topics, because we're approaching the 2 hours, but if there's anything else,
Yeah.
let me know so we can hit it. But let's just go ahead and get that elephant out of the room now. 2016. I liked the movie. I thought it was entertaining. I thought some people described Ghostbusters as having improv in it, but maybe 2016 had too much improv, like not with a controlled script. Was it a Ghostbusters movie? No. In no way I consider it a real Ghostbusters movie. One, because it was too goofy. I mean, it was too goofy. And two,
It was not even goofy. It was dumb.
well, I'm just saying it was, I don't consider it a real Ghostbusters movie. Did not go back to the original or anything like that. But it's a silly side-alone movie when you can SpongeBob it and just dump your brain out of any formal thought. It's kind of entertaining. They got a lot of jokes and gags and some scary moments in there. So, I mean, that's why I say 2016 was not as bad as people said. Where I disagree with 2016 was the off the field stuff, was Feige and the actresses when they started attacking the audiences and everything else, and saying, what, when they were condemning everybody for not liking it. That's where I had a problem in the movie. Okay, Masters, feel free. Tell me where I'm wrong. You have the floor. It is all up to you. Let me have it now.
I don't know where to start, Batman. You're almost wrong with everything. There was not a single funny moment in this movie. It was just pure stupidity. And what I will say is the obviously purpose of this movie was to destroy the original Ghostbusters. And there's a couple of things that I really get annoyed about, right?
Okay.
First thing, okay, our original Ghostbusters, they're quite characters. I give you that. No, there might be a little bit misogynistic or whatever. They're quite characters. I give you that. Right? But you never have the impressions that they are dumb. You always think, okay, these are smart scientists, right?
Right.
The ladies are dumb. They're making a fool out of themselves every second of the movie. They're doing things that you can say, how? They gave you a scientific title. They never did that. You bought it. You found it in the streets or whatever. But you never went to a university. So it's unbelievable. And and there's just the next problem that I have. In order that you have to make, they are the Ghostbusters, right? They are the leader of the pack. So they still should be the smartest there. And in order to reach that goal, it's not that they make the ladies appear smart. No, they make everybody else appear even more dumb. Where I'm starting talking about Chris Hemsworth, where I was about to say, okay, from from an actor's point of view, I thought that was the right decision for him to accept that role, because he had the chance in a great franchise to show a complete different aspect of him as himself as an actor, right? And so I thought it was right. But please watch that movie. Look the things that he says. He's just dumb. He's dumb, good looking, fresh flesh for the ladies. It could not be more sexistic than that, right?
Hey, Stunning, good to see Stunning. The president's here
Hey.
today, Masters.
Oh, hey, hail to the president.
Hello.
Hey, but I don't necessarily disagree with, the dialogue was weak and
what week?
lacking.
It was just terrible. And I mean, look at blonde lady. I mean, she was.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, now listen. I thought Chris Hemsworth, they were just making him. I thought that was not so bad, making him kind of reverse the role. Like sometimes you had the ditzy blonde and make it him in a guy format. It was kind of okay, fine. It's a role reversal. He was actually pretty good at what he did with it. I thought and I thought I agree with you with that. Now I do. Oh shoot, we just had a power outage. So if I go dark, then are y'all there?
We're here.
Yeah,
we can still hear.
There.
Okay, give me a second.
That's what's the battery mode.
Yep, it's in battery mode. The light power came back on, but hey. All right. What happened was my second monitor came back over to my first monitor, and I had to make sure the stream was
flipped,
up.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it really, I agree with Holtzman's character. That was freaky. That was disturbing. That was cringe. That was not funny. I think Hemsworth was funny, but what happened with Holtzman was cringe. Don't you think, Master? That's what you're saying, right?
Absolutely. And again, what I'm saying, the whole movie was like a disengagement of the original lore that we had, right?
Yeah.
What they have done with the cameo of Bill Murray, not only that he came in and I mean, we are supposed to be in a kind of universe where the Ghostbusters are existing and then not existing, because obviously not the same guy, because then Bill Murray walks in there and says, no, I don't believe you're shit, and gets blown away. That's like the green milk scene in Star Wars, right? I mean, you cannot do stuff like that. And latest there, I lost the belief in this movie. It is so incongruent. So what we should believe on whose base they are working. I mean, they're wearing the same uniforms.
Yep.
They're using the same symbolism. They kind of, but then Ghostbusters are not existing because one of the main Ghostbusters just came in and declared he doesn't believe in ghosts at all, and stuff like that, and gets humiliated. Has a cameo of.
Yeah.
Right.
See, I did like some of the gag humor, like the when they were firing him at the school, the tech school, when he did like blowing up the balloon with his middle finger. I like gag comedy and stuff like that. So Stunning can't be pinched now. He's green. I don't think anybody would mess with Megatron though. Stunning.
Nope.
So, G2. Oh, Ghostbusters 2 colors. So when we talked about Ghostbusters 2, I think that's the one we all. Mark, did you get to say much of? Okay, I just couldn't remember. I know you had to pop out, but I want to make sure you had covered.
No, yeah. On 2016. Yeah.
Can I add one more little thing? One more little thing, and then I will be quiet forever. I promise. Look, people. Even the first setup, right? There were basically a bunch of comedians. Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, right? They were comedians, and so are the ladies, right? And I won't even say that the ladies are not funny when they are in their roles as comedians that they have been very successfully before they slipped into that movie, right? But there's one big difference between these two packs of comedians, right? The first pack of comedian was able to accept their role. They also were comedians, but they slipped out of their comedian role into another role that was required for that Ghostbusters movie. They gave it a certain touch, but they took the role, right?
Right.
And
Okay.
these ladies are just these ladies. They do the exactly things that they do on their stage show or wherever else they appear. And what annoys me extremely is that none of these ladies, four ladies in the movie, at no point of the movie is talking. They're all the way yelling, all the way screaming. Oh, Jesus. No. And now I will be quiet forever. Sorry.
Well, I can understand because I will tell you that one of my my oldest kid wouldn't see it. I don't think they ever saw it, but one of the problems they had was with the stereotypical. It's the one character, the comedian, the black comedian that plays that character. My kid was bothered that it felt like it was just a stereotypical role with the way they talk, to deliver the comedy lines and all this other stuff. Because it's the one with got Melissa McCarthy's been inhabited, like the power of Christ compels you. So I can understand and agree, have sympathy to what you said with the acting and all screaming, certain stereotypes and things that you do. Like you said, you can't understate how Holtzman was really, really disturbingly cringe in that. That was something else. Mark, 2016. See,
Yeah, 2016.
Was it the worst movie you ever saw?
Not the worst movie, but I think trying to call it a Ghostbusters movie, you're expecting something really funny, and what I couldn't understand is why they had some of the Ghostbusters and cameos not as the Ghostbusters. It's like the Ghostbusters didn't exist in that universe.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even like they were with Ghostbusters Afterlife, where they said, these are all the daughters of the original Ghostbusters, or there's something to tie them together. They just said, we're replacing the Ghostbusters with these 4 new women, and there's no ties to the original characters whatsoever. I didn't think the movie was funny. I mean, Hemsworth is good in his delivery, but I didn't laugh during the movie. There was all that controversy over, quote unquote alleged, negativity against the actresses and social media. But the movie wasn't good. I mean, if
you cannot go and bang the whole lore and make everybody look stupid, write a really bad script, and then expect the people to respect you, Paul Feig. Yeah. That's not the way it works. You need to go and deliver, and then you are lucky when you get some applause for it. But it's not that we owe anything to you. It's the other way around. You owe us, and you didn't deliver, buddy. You didn't deliver. You destroyed.
See, I think that the focus on the negativity was misplaced. To me, the problem with and where it's hard to defend the movie is because of that director Feige and the actresses, when they started going scorched earth in social media and interviews blaming the fans. Well, why would they be upset when you're really trying to say this is new Ghostbusters? Like, get over it. Yeah, they're going to be pissed, but the problem is let your movie speak for itself. And because they started talking really early, which I think soured people off from even giving it a chance. I think if people had given it a chance, they might have at least been able to appreciate it for what it was an attempt to do. It's kind of like a lot of the Disney Star Wars. I have what's in my mind is real Star Wars. The other stuff, take or leave it, whatever. Some good, most of it's not what I want to do. And at least if you wouldn't attack the fans or make such a big deal, they could have actually had to. I think they really destroyed any chance that fans that might have been okay to actually give support because it became personal. The director and actresses made it personal when it didn't need to be.
Yeah. He's looking for us. No.
Yeah, I mean, and they were like, and they doubled down. They didn't, where they were unapologetic, and then they just got madder and madder. Why aren't people liking this? Well, you just insulted them. I mean, we see many other franchises where they're done, and people have revolted back. Star Wars is not making the money it was. I mean, Indiana. I mean, the last movie. I was like, I mean, even the missus said she wasn't going to go watch that shit when I asked her if she wanted to go watch the fifth Indiana Jones. She's like, I'm like, well, it made Newt the Fridge sound good, but I don't know. I don't know. Masters. So there you go. You got to have your war with me on that. Anything else?
There's so much to say about the failure of 2016 and the ignorance that they presented with that. But I will say one more thing. Going to the fans and say we're just rechasing it, or we don't want it because we don't understand it, so we are stupid, kind of.
Mhm.
We are closed-minded, kind of. We are kind of misogynist because we want the old crooky jokes of Bill Murray back, or what. And we're not able to accept anything. Well, my message is look at the movie where just all three of us agreed that the new movie by Ivan Reitman's son is very good. Is there any genuine man in a main character role in that movie? No. The man is the teacher is the sidekick. He's not in the main role. The role, the movie literally gets carried by a 10-year-old girl. I mean, the actor is a little bit older, but that's what it's supposed to be, and it gets carried good, and it got wide acceptance. It has nothing to do with what Ghostbusters 1984 was, right? But it had the right feeling. It had the respect. It brought the stuff together. And if Mr. Feige would have done that,
right,
nobody would have.
And see, even the cameos of the originals that they put in there were like weak. They didn't even tie the cameos in well. Like train them or hand it down or whatever. They would put them in as goofy in each way each case that they did with that.
And then when you're the director,
well, we got comic books and
sorry. So when you are the director of a movie, right?
No, go ahead.
You're directing the actors. Is it that way or not? People like Alfred Hitchcock are famous because they were able to guide their actors in a way to create incredible movies and make the best out of it. No?
But I think what one of our mutual friends says is that this was a case where, unlike the original that had some ad libs, this was a movie that didn't have much script, that it was all heavily ad libbed, and they just let the actresses go the way they wanted to.
That's what I say.
Which was chaos. So,
yeah.
Well, let's talk about the comics for a little bit, and then we'll talk about how this movie stands culturally. All right, ready for comics? All right, Mark's got it up here already. The comics.
Just did a generic search for comics, but of course there's a Filmation comic, which is the 80s, and you've had a ton of comic book series, more modern stuff, IDW, Ghostbusters, and a lot of short series too with the Ghostbusters. And of course you've got the real Ghostbusters here. That's an older issue, but I mean, so it. Tying in with the legacy, it's a very popular IP when you think about it. With just the two movies until 2016. So those movies were 84 and 89. So just shows you the longevity of the series from just two movies. That and the second one wasn't even that well received. It still was part of the lexicon, and they kept making toys and video games and products to go with it.
I forgot to say this, Master. Because that's one of the things I was so out of Ghostbusters 2 that it was bad. I mean, I could not get so logical. In some ways, 2016 was a better movie to me than Ghostbusters 2. But that's sorry.
Yeah. But and then of course we got to mention that the animated show kept it going.
Now the animated cartoons were really good though.
That kept the franchise going too. That probably
Mm-hmm.
in the biggest way. And then of course you had comics based on the franchise, the cartoon franchise too.
Mm-hmm.
So
They were very successful, no? Very,
yeah.
very.
Oh
They
yeah.
were.
So that helps keep,
And
and
they
of
were
course
good. You have to admit that.
these companies want to make money too, obviously. So they want to keep the IP alive. And that was the attempt with the 2016 movie. But now we've hopefully on the right track with Afterlife and now the new movie coming out this week. But
It's going to be very interesting.
you mentioned Ghostbusters. Everyone knows, even if you're a quote unquote normie or not into genre entertainment, everyone knows the Ghostbusters, right?
Yes.
Right. So
Yeah.
Yes.
Which
Everybody
gets to
knows.
like Masters wanted to talk about was the cultural phenomenon this has become, because this is a movie of a generation. I mean, it's one of those things that parents handed down to their kids, to the next kids. I will say Ghostbusters 2. This comic does remind me of seeing Ghostbusters 2. I liked when Rick Moranis, when Tully got the suit put on him, and Annie Potts is like, "Oh, you look so beautiful," just like gave him that little encouragement, that little smooch, and it was like, and he went, but there's no car, so he got on a city bus.
yeah.
Then he goes out there and he's shooting the thing and all that. Then it all blows up, and everybody thinks he did it, and that was kind of good that he got his cool moment. That just jumped in when I saw what you did.
So the cover,
yeah.
Yes, this covers. This is 1988. This comic book, yeah. So,
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember how. I don't think any of them were very long running series, but they've now got Ghostbusters, Transformers.
Oh, really? Is Ghostbusters and Transformers? I mean, I'm
Comic
studying
book.
is out there.
Yeah.
So, was this considered a crossover or what?
Well, it's just a crossover, fun comic book. So limited series. I haven't read it, but so issue number. Normally they're it's a 5-issue series. So yep. So they just have. Why not combine the Ghostbusters with the Transformers? Right? You can do anything in a comic book. Yeah. So
That's
Ghostbusters.
quite an interesting idea, to be honest. I found that intriguing. I didn't know that.
Ghostbusters International.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like Ghost Hunters International. That's stupid.
Yeah. I don't need to see more than the cover of it, right? Thank you.
Right. Well,
it did look like it had no. That's Egon in the back there. So,
and all this gets into how this
Egon seems to do the only right thing that you also have to do. He seems to run away from this comic.
Well, this all goes into the cultural phenomenon, like you talked about. I mean, this is a movie franchise that kind of approached Star Wars in that way. I mean, where they was successful in comic books and games and toys. I mean, all these different avenues.
In generations, as you said, internationally, you can be in Australia, you can be in Mexico, Germany, United States, or I guess even in North Korea. You will find people who know who are the Ghostbusters, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
And that's the thing. And also, it had a heavy impact that's almost overseen by a lot of people, but internally, the people are pretty much aware of it. I mean, this movie came out when something like live role play or role play still was very new and still was not the thing that it is today, like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like this. And I say Ghostbusters was the first movie that started like this live action play movement. And I will tell you why. There, equipment-wise, there was absolutely nothing available. And I had this problem myself. After seeing this movie, what I wanted to be dressed like on the next carnival, as Ghostbusters. You could not buy absolutely nothing. You could not go to buy, at least not in Germany and stuff like this. You could not buy a suit or anything like this. You could not go and buy a proton pack or anything like this. So my mom went on, or my grandma went on and did something. No, I did my proton pack made of some cartons and stuff like that. So all these LARP aspect that it has, is really big today. That has kind of been started with that movie, which is another cultural aspect that it has, right? Everybody wanted to run around like a Ghostbuster in this. Everybody wanted to run around like a Ghostbuster.
And I think that's where another factor of that cultural phenomenon, and to your point though, is when kids want to dress up to it and adds that. And as your youngster, you want to get your proton pack, you want to do this. It's just an extension of the toys, but even more so the cosplays now, the conventions where adults are dressing up doing this stuff. That used to not happen. I mean, I think probably in the 60s or 70s, they would have looked at you like you were a freak because people just didn't do that back then, But now what's developed is that between Star Wars and Trek and Ghostbusters and so many of these franchises, that it's become such a fabric of everyday life. Now we have our conventions. Now we have, hey, let's do this. Let's have fun with it, And Ghostbusters is definitely one of those out there that has, changed society in that way.
Yeah, they stirred it up. They stirred it up and fired it up.
I don't know if you have them over there where you are, but we got people that cosplay Ghostbusters all the time at the cons. As much as Star Trek, Star Wars.
Yeah.
Of course, and it's still nowadays, still every Halloween, one of the most sold costumes here. When they are at Walmart here or what, they get sold out very quickly, and you don't have that problem that there is no Latin Ghostbuster existing. Here are a lot of kids and adults that identify themselves with the Ghostbusters. I can tell you that. We have the Ghostbusters shooting range in the Six Flags in Mexico City. So where you got this laser shooting range there, and adults go there cosplaying. Adults just go for that attraction, and as you say, they have everything. They have everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's wild as hell. It's wild as hell.
I can't think of any other. What other parts of the cultural phenomenon do you think it is? I mean, we talked about comics, we talked about cosplay, we talked about all that type of stuff. But what else did you have in mind when you wanted to talk about that?
One last aspect, maybe why Ghostbusters 1, the original movie, was able to start such a hype, is that the movie itself, right? We spoke that how it united generations afterwards, but it even unites generations within the movie. So I remember when I was at something called Karstadt, similar to Macy's in Germany, with my father to get some Ghostbusters merch, and he in the same moment bought the long player, right, of the music, because he liked the music. It was in the charts everywhere, and he loved it, so he bought it. So it was the son buying something from Ghostbusters. It was the father buying something from Ghostbusters. Yeah. And believe me, my grandmother, who was with me in the first time in the movie, she was giggling as much in that movie as I was. For me as a kid, it was harmless. But if you watch it as an adult, there's a lot of stuff in that, right? Where you as an adult say, "Oh, Jesus Christ."
I said, when I saw it a few years ago in the theater with the kids for the first time, and he's just tired, sleep, and then the zipper unzips. It's like, oh my, I forgot about that thing. But hey,
So
stunning set. If we ever cosplays as the Ghostbuster, he'll be Echo 1.
Of course, he is a Transformer.
Exactly.
Of course, he is a Transformer.
Yes, and of course, the great line he said.
Can do that, right? How many movies are doing that? That they are worth a while for adults as well as for kids, and not causing any problems for neither of these groups watching the movie, right? So it accomplished a lot, I think.
Yep. All right. Well, anything else, Masters? I think we've covered it.
Oh, yeah. The most important last words.
Yes.
And I will refer to Stunning and Brave Megatron.
Yeah.
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
Exactly. Greatest line, one of the greatest movie lines ever. Mark, you got any final thoughts before we go ahead and start to close up?
Well, just love Ghostbusters, and it was great hanging with you guys today. And
Absolutely, Mark.
yeah,
Thank
looking
you.
forward to the new movie. And yeah, it's part of the culture icon of cinema and the country is Ghostbusters. And
hmm
there's not many movies that that could be could consider ranking better than that first Ghostbusters movie. I mean, I know it's people sometimes look down on comedy. I shouldn't say look down, but the Academy Awards, right? They're not picking a comedy to win the Academy Awards. I mean, maybe it's happened before. I can't recall, but it was always a serious movie or drama movie. But one of the damn hardest things to do is to make a movie funny, right? And to be a comedian and to have great jokes. And then that's why Bill Murray can transition to being a serious actor with drama, because I think comedy is the toughest thing to do in acting. And that movie just nails it. I mean, I got to clip it for Tuesday night. We're reviewing it for Toxic Tuesday, and I mean, I could have almost an hour worth of clips from the movie. It's so funny. So
well, it's like the missus always tells me. She's like, "You're funny. You're funnier when you don't try to be." And sometimes I think with the way writing goes is they try so hard to be funny. It's like even in sports, you get the athletes that are stressing, they're pressing harder and this, that, and the other. They make more mistakes. They can't get it right. And sometimes you just have to let something flow naturally and let it be the way it is.
Let it flow.
Static says that also applies to Paul.
That's for Paul Feig.
Oh, gosh. All right. Well, folks, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up.
Business in Hollywood right now, Mr. President.
Exactly.
But
well, hey,
is gonna be our savior, I heard. So
yeah. Well, Masters will be in prayer and all for you this week. I know you got a big week ahead.
Good luck.
Everybody keep Masters in your thoughts and prayers. And
thank you. Thank
absolutely.
you.
And any last things about Ghostbusters before I go ahead and sign off?
Who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters.
Dadman.
There you go.
Dadman.
Well, folks, follow me on Twitter, DadmanWalking55, to get and follow on Twitch. Subscribe on YouTube to get the latest updates. Hit your notifications. There'll be live streams. There's going to be some Fortnite. I hope to do some Fortnite tonight and then some this week. But on Tuesday night, we're rolling out a sports show. We're going to talk about college basketball, March Madness with JT Kurt.
Go UConn.
Troopa. There you go. Hey, you got a good year this year. Florida lost apparently today, but they look better than normal, although they had a horrendous injury in the game. And Sci-Fi Mombi, Tuesday night, that'll be Wednesday night. Our walking around will be ghostbusting and rambling. So join us as Ang and I talk Ghostbusters and her memories about it, along with Hungry Boys should be joining us that night as our special guest for that. And then on Friday night, we are back to Buck Rogers, episodes 2.3, 2.4, another two-parter that I hear is going to be hard. But hey, as long as you can hang out with good friends and have some laughs, that's what counts. And that's what today has been. Masters, Mark, I really appreciate you coming in on short notice. Thank you for what you did, especially your magical genius about running clips and the website stuff, because that really was a wonderful addition. And of course, Masters, you, my friend, you're on all of our thoughts and prayers this week. I know that this is a wonderful franchise to you and for you, and you love Slimer. So, all righty,
that's you know what. That's a good goal for me in order to wake up again, is I have to see that movie. I want to see that movie, right? So I have to get back on my feet there.
Absolutely. And we know you will. All right, friends, take care. Have a great day. And Masters, who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters!
Bye, all.